All right, well, welcome to the 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness. I'm Zarathustra, and I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be talking about today, but the topic of the day will reveal itself to us. So, uh, our friend Hilde, she has an idea, but let's see what happens. We'll just go from there. And All right. One of my participants mentioned that I know why don't I no longer do a silent meditation in the beginning of our academy and then go from there and kind of like sort of going by with the flow, and sometimes things change, you go from this to that, and you feel it, and sort of sometimes you just don't feel like doing the same thing over and over again. And but now I kind of feel like, okay, why don't we just sink in and be quiet, have a short silent meditation, and then we go from there and see what wants to come, what wants to express itself without really pushing it or having an agenda of talking about anything specific. Um, all right, so let's just take a deep breath and relax and sink into here. Sink into this moment that is always fresh and brand new. And without trying, don't really try to make anything happen. Just all you have to do is bring your attention inwards towards the witness. Look for the observer, look for the witness, the one that is aware, the one that is always here. And even if your mind goes around and gets engaged with things, it's okay. Just simply be watchful. Simply be aware of the noise in the mind or the noise in your surrounding. Just allow things to be. It's okay. Okay. Slowly, slowly come back. So, quite often, what happens is that you come across this um, information, you come across this intelligence, and um, you start to look inside. You begin to look for the observer, and you notice this element part of yourself, that there's something here which is simply is, and it's simply watching. And so you notice this and you start working on that. You start diverting your attention to this part of yourself. And we can call it witnessing, we can call it the observer, um, we can call it consciousness, uh, that you are starting to identify with this other part of yourself. Now, this is what goes on while this is happening, while your attention is kind of shifting and going in that direction to this other part of you, which is really is here, and it's always still. It's very still and it's very silent. And when you bring your attention into this part of yourself and you're identifying with it, all of a sudden everything becomes quiet in your life. the mind goes away and everything becomes really like it settles down. And then what happens is that you start doing this and you're getting, it becomes easier and more comfortable, and you start experiencing that it's really impacting the quality of your life. But then life, it's got stories. So things are happening in your surrounding, uh, and of course they're happening to you. So some kind of story is going on, whatever it is. You know, the girlfriend breaks up with you, the boyfriend says this or that, you get into financial trouble, or you get lost into your emotional stories. Um, Something happened, whatever it is. You get caught into uh, stories about the environment or politics, whatever it is. You get caught into saving the animals or animals' rights or saving the environment, something which is related to, for example, an awakening or being conscious or being awake, something in that, uh, whether it's related to your health or whether they're poisoning the crops and the farmings and the seeds are not good and they're genetically modified, some kind of story comes to your life that gets your attention. Or maybe there's the 5G towers, they're putting them around your home or all over, and they're affecting you or infecting the environment. So, which in a way, I mean, it's very noble and it's very, it appears to be a noble cause that you're fighting for animal rights, you're fighting for environment, you're fighting to bring down the 5G towers, or whatever is the story, or you're fighting for human rights or women's rights or gays' rights, whatever it is. And it's a noble cause. But the story drags you back into the world. It takes you back into the matrix. You're back into the matrix. You're back into the story of the world. And of course, it appears to be very real. And in the relative reality, it is real. It's not that it's not real, it's real, it's happening. But what it does is it disturbs your mind. And now your mind starts to get really disturbed and it starts running. That why life is so unfair, why do the politicians or the leaders of the world are doing this, or they're crooks, or they're not straightforward, they're fooling people, or whatever, or why they're destroying the planet or destroying people's health. So your mind goes into that story, or whatever is going on with your boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever story it is. I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, why doesn't anybody want me, or why am I not making enough money, or whatever is the story, you get caught into it, you go into it. And then the mind starts running. And you get very identified with it. And suffering comes back. You start to suffer. It's in those moments that if you can realize that, if even if there's a glimpse, there's a moment you realize all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, I'm back into the story. And again, as I mentioned, it doesn't matter how great the story is, and how much you're on the side of righteousness. Like, all right, they just decided to come and just cut all the trees in this beautiful park, and you're really angry because they're destroying this park and they're cutting the trees, and it's, you have the right to be upset and angry, but you are still in the story. You got caught in the story. Now, you can demonstrate against it and you can express your thoughts or feelings about it. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you can keep yourself separated from the story, if you can maintain your level of the awareness that you're the awareness, yet you're watching the character in the movie, which is the illusory you, which is very upset and is expressing his or her emotions about what is going on to this beautiful park. Now, as long as you stay connected and you stay identified to the witness, and then letting your body mind to react is not a problem. But if you forget that, then you're in trouble. You're back into the matrix, completely identified with the story. Even if the story is that, oh, you just got diagnosed with cancer, and yeah, you went to your doctor, you came back, they contacted you, they said you need to come back and see your doctor, and then you're a little bit worried. You go back seeing your doctor, and your doctor is telling you, look, you got a tumor in your, I don't know, in your belly or somewhere, and yeah, you know, it doesn't look good. You have about 6 months to live, or you need to go in chemotherapy or start getting some kind of treatments, or this can kill you. And then your mind starts to really spin. And because, you know, that's a serious thing. We have a very strong identification with our bodies. So, and they seem very, very real. There's one thing is being able to look at your mind and looking at your emotions and separate yourself from both. But there's another thing when it comes to your body, because the body is something that where you are in it, you were born with it, and it's going to be with you all the way till it gives up on you at the end of the line, whenever that is. So when the body is threatened, it's very easy to get identified with the entire story. So a part of this work is that remembering the teachings. So the teachings are not just, oh, they're so cute, they're great, wonderful. Yeah, when I go to a workshop with Zarathustra, or I go to the academy, and yeah, I go back into the teachings, but then when it comes to everyday life, I forget about it. And I get very identified with the story of my life, me. And these are the key moments that you need to realize it, to notice it. And not in a cool way, not that you beat yourself up, that, oh, Zarathustra, I'm so bad, I totally forgot. Okay, that's fine. You forget and you get identified with your story. It's basically your story. But the moment you recognize it, you want to come back. You want to come back home. It means you're shifting your attention from this story that is really happening in your mind, even though, okay, they're cutting the trees in a park, but it's still, this story is happening in your mind. Even though there is validity in it, that it's a park, they're cutting all the trees, and it doesn't make sense to you. It's so stupid. But that's the moment you need to realize that, wait a minute, that's a dream world. That's happening in a dream world. And when I come back to the center of myself, and I go beyond the mind, and I become quiet in this place, there is no park. The park disappears. And my relationship with the park and my idea of the park, that disappears too. None of it is there anymore. And recognizing it, that this is an opportunity for awakening, because again, somebody can come and say, well, how can you say these kind of things? How can you be so ignorant? What do you mean there is no park? You know, how can you just stand by there and watch this is happening? But you have to realize that if it's disturbing you and getting you involved into that story, then that is an opportunity in that moment for you to come back into the silence, come back into the center. The story of the park has given you an opportunity for awakening, because it's still happening in relative reality. It's still happening in a world that is not real, a world that is not permanent, it's not solid, it's changing. So you are bringing your attention back to that which doesn't change. What is it that doesn't change? It's the state of I am. It's I. It's you. Because the I am is always here. It's just like still and not connected to the world which the mind is projecting. It is creating this reality of the world, including the body, the mind, everything that appears into it. It's your world. It's happening to you. But in the meantime, it's not real. It's not real because it does not hold its structural integrity. It's not able to stay the same. It's changing all the time. So you can't really invest into it because it's changing all the time. Even your connections with your people you know, friends, you know, one day, you know, you got this very strong connection with this person, and then one day you contact them and they're very cold to you, or they're being an asshole, or they betray you, or they just ignore you, or whatever. And it's like, you're like, what happened? I wasn't expecting that. Because it changes all the time. It cannot stay the same. Because the construction of this world, the building block of it, the way they build it, like, you know, you're building back in the day, you know, these European buildings and homes, you're using these bricks. You're putting a brick on a brick, you're building it with bricks. So these building blocks that they're used to make this world, the material that they use is change. They use change. That's the material. So all these building blocks that they make to create the world is made out of change. So it can't stay the same. It's changing all the time. So, but since no one ever told me this, no one ever pointed this to me, so I think it's normal. I think this is how the reality is, that it's always changing. So now I'm investing into it, and I'm looking for the objects of desires, that if I get this object, if I get this girl, or if I get that man, or if I get more money, or if I get more fame, or if I look better, or if I improve my housing situation, means I get something. I need to get something. And when I get this thing is going to make me happy. But since it's made out of change, it won't last. It's very short term. It cannot sustain itself, and it cannot keep me happy. So it brings disappointment. And then I'm looking for something else. So, and since this is how I grew up, and how everybody else around me is doing the same thing, all the TV shows or the movies that I'm watching are re-emphasizing this. And everyone around me, my parents, my schooling, my society, the army, the government, the Hollywood industry, everything is emphasizing on same thing. So I have no reason or any doubts to look anywhere else. So all my life I'm chasing something from the outside world, or I'm trying to fix the outside world so it stays the same, when it's basically an impossible task. It's absolutely impossible, because nobody could ever do that. No society, no government, no kingdom, no corporation, no one ever is able to create a situation that situation stays the same. And since we're creatures of habit, we like things, we like routines, and we want things to be the same. And when they're changing, we get upset. Because you go to work, you come home, you go to the gym across the street, you wake up in the morning, you like to go to your coffee house, it's across the street, sit there, get your coffee or your croissant or acai bowl or whatever. And then one day you go to that coffee shop, it's closed. A big corporation came and bought it, and now they're just demolishing the building, and you're upset. Oh, it used to be there and it's not there anymore. Or they came and cut through the park, and they cut all the trees, or they cut all these beautiful flowers, and they put something else instead. And your mind is going crazy over this thing because it's not there anymore. Or somebody close to you died, or somebody close to you moved. Your best friend moved to another country or another city, and now you don't have that. So, because you want the same thing, and you're investing in it. But we're investing in the wrong area, wrong place, because it's changing all the time, and it cannot remain the same. including your body. How many times you woke up in the morning and all of a sudden you got this dark thing on your face? It's like, where the hell did this come from? Or something happens to your body. All of a sudden something's changing. You're putting a lot of weight on. And it's like, I don't understand. I'm not even eating much food, but I'm just growing. Or whatever. All of a sudden your eyesight is not good. You can't really see very well. Or you can't hear very well. And you're just wondering, what the hell happened? I was fine up to yesterday, and all of a sudden I wake up this morning and I don't see very well. So it's going to change. And since it cannot remain the same, it disturbs you and your mind gets activated. And it brings misery. So, what do? Is that what we do is recognizing that which doesn't change and starting to bring our attention in that area. Because your thoughts change all the time. Your mind is running like crazy, especially if you're not trained and you don't do meditation and you're very identified with the world. Or you become more conscious and you start going on the spiritual path, but then another conditioning comes, is now you're working on your emotions all the time. Now you became semi-conscious, but now you're caught into this game of fixing emotions. So now you're working on the emotions all the time. Oh, I need to fix this about my childhood. I need to fix this, da 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 da. But it never ends. It never ends. You can never fix it. As soon as you think you fix something, something else shows up. You thought you figured everything out. All of a sudden, your lost father who abandoned you at age 5 shows up in your life. And he wants to connect with you, for example. Now it creates all these emotions that are rising, all these abandonment issues or whatever, something happened and it pulls the trigger. Something. Now you have to work on that. It's never going to stop because it's not there. You have to go beyond the recognition that you're not any of them. You're not what you're thinking. Whatever is going on in your mind, whatever is your thought pattern is happening, is not who you are. And I'm not talking about working mind. Working mind is a different story. The working mind, you need it. If you want to plan on getting an airplane and going to Bali for 1 month because you want to spend, you need to use your working mind to figure out how to book a ticket. Am I going to stay in an Airbnb? Can I afford this? How am I going to manage it? That's a working mind. There's nothing wrong with that one. But anything else besides that is just pollution. It's just like something is spinning all the time. Thinking. It's not real. It's a false identification. It results into suffering because it's either in the past, thinking about the stuff you didn't do, you should have done, blah, 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 or it's projecting into the future and creating either anxiety or fear or some illusory comfort of some situation may come to you in the future, but it's not here. So that's the mind. The emotions, you know it, it's a yo-yo. It's up and down all the time. And it's affected by a million different things, whether what you ate, or your hormonal levels change, or the events that happen in life, and they up and down. So where is the comfort in that? Where is the comfort in pulling into your emotions? How can you be in this place that they're balanced and you're steady? Where can you be steady? It's just not there. And okay, you want to go back to your childhood issues and abandonment problems, or this happened, sexual abuse, or whatever is the story. All right, you can keep working on that, but it doesn't go anywhere. And or the body, you're trying to really hang on to it. Okay, I got something real finally. It's here. I can touch it. I can feel it. If I drink something very hot, it will burn my tongue. If I don't pay attention and I hit my shoulder against something, it hurts. Okay, so maybe this is real. I'll focus on this one. But this one is not real either, because it's changing all the time. So you have to bypass it and you have to come to, but what is it that doesn't change? Something is aware of these changes. What is that thing? What is it that is aware of these changes? There's this mechanism, there's this elemental thing that it's steady and it's here. And the moment your attention goes in that direction and you connect with it, you discover it, you notice it, you identify with it, everything is quiet. And it's really a delight and a pleasure and a gift to recognize this place, this space, and operating from it. Operating from this place of witnessing. And this let go takes place, that you're just allowing things, they come and things go. Yeah, they came and destroyed the park. Okay, something new is going to come. But you don't get hung up on that. You just go with the flow of life. You're cool with things come and think, yeah, maybe you get to a point that, you know what, I can't live in this neighborhood anymore because I need more green. Okay, you move. But you don't go fight the city and the system and bang your head against the wall. Why they cut these trees? You go somewhere that there's a lot of trees. So you just go with the flow instead of trying to fight the flow or go against it. Anybody has any questions or any comments? And of course, it could be like the mind comes with questions like, well, uh, yeah, it's easy when we're at the academy with you, Zarathustra. Yeah, everything becomes quiet. But then, um, or maybe it's easy for you to say this, Zarathustra, but then during the week I have to deal with this and that, and all kinds of stuff comes up. And that's a, if you say this, it's a very valid thing, because this was my experience when I was sitting with Master Punjaji, Papaji, my Sadguru in India. Of course, back in the day, I didn't have very much of understanding in comparison to what I have or what's here now. But uh, I get it. Uh, but the key is to develop stillness and develop paying attention to the inner silence of, meditative time, of the time that we're together, and to translate this this information and the understanding into everyday life, using everyday life as a practice field that is going to give you an opportunity to develop your craft. So the everyday life, no matter what kind of ups and downs it has, it's actually aiding, it's an aid, it's helping you, it's giving you a chance. So instead of saying, oh, wow, I can only go into this silence and come to this place, oh, it's very quiet, there's nothing going on, my emotions are balanced, the mind is gone. Okay, now let's bring this into daily life. Let's use daily life as an opportunity to practice this. So life is going to give us all multiple opportunities over and over and over again. It's never going to stop. You're always going to be challenged. If you think you're going to put everything together, it's like playing chess and you got all your men stuff set up correctly, life is going to mess it up and gives you another chance, because that's not where it is. It's not how you manipulate the circumstances around you. the conditions, that they have to be ideal, that everything is going your way. And that happens. Things will go. You hit periods of life that everything goes your way and everything easily comes to you. But you're also going to hit periods of life, time, that things falling apart. They don't come your way. So there's going to be, in the other world, there's going to be both of them. And there's always going to be this challenge that presents itself. But once you get it, it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, if it's daytime or nighttime. Once you understand the concept and you understand the technique, the method, the way, it won't make any difference anymore, whether you're with your teacher or you're not with your teacher. You always come back. You always come back. You come back to the center of yourself. And if you feel like, okay, it's been a long time, I haven't gone to the academy, or I'm not, fine, go on YouTube and click on one of these non-duality teachers. Come back to the academy. You got like a myriad of different teachers on YouTube that they're pointing out, the ones who are not promoting duality, the ones who are into non-dual teachings, they're all pointing out to this place. And you can taste different flavors from different teachers because they're all sending you back inside. And boom, you just listen to a podcast or you watch a video and then you're back. This is not like 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You had to go to India to sit with your guru, or you had to travel a long distance or wait for the guru to come in town so you can be at the presence of the master. Now you have it within your reach at any moment that you desire. Any moment. So we don't have this excuse like, oh, well, you're not around and I lose it. No, well, just turn on your computer and go on YouTube and type whatever teacher that you feel connected to and listen to them. And you come back. You come back to the center again. You come back to this place. It's just like that. The teaching is available. It's here. It's within your grasp now. The technology allows us. Yeah, the technology also has screwed up a lot of other things, but it gives us a lot of good stuff. It depends how you want to look at it. It's up to you. Because I can sit down and think about how maybe technology has destroyed a lot of human connections, or us coming together, or the tribes are not there anymore and everything is disconnected. And you go somewhere. I live in Tulum. I'm walking on a hotel row, and I'm looking and I see a family of 5, parents with 3 kids sitting there, and no one's talking to each other. Everybody's looking at their phone. Everybody's on their phone. Well, why the hell did you come out to dinner together if you want to be on the phone? Yeah, people are not very present. I get it. But okay, I can put my attention on that and start cooking over it and be upset, or I can put my attention on the fact that the technology is giving me access to see you in person and to work with each other and connect. I can call my brother and see him live. I can go to any teacher I want. Any subject I want to learn about, I can go on YouTube or internet and Google it and learn about it and get more information. Maybe I don't get all the information, but I can educate myself or learn meditation or different kind of meditations, or find about other teachers. What is their style? How are they teaching? What are they saying? What is it I can learn from them? They're all there. So it depends, which area do I want to put my attention on? I want to focus on the negative, or I want to focus on positive? I want to look for the aspects that's going to enhance my life, or I want to look at the aspects that it's going to bring me down and makes me angry? It's up to you. I mean, do whatever, what do you want to do? What's empowering you? And I think we've done the negative part for a long time in our lives. We've beat ourselves up. We've gone the wrong path for a very, very long time, and it didn't get us anywhere. And we've already done those kind of things. And maybe it's time to just shift and bring the attention to a different area and see what happens. What do I have to lose? What can I lose? I mean, for years and years, I've gone through. Hold on a moment, please. They're doing some. Just 1 second. I live in Tulum. Of course, there's all kinds of construction is always happening, so it's a never-ending endeavor around here. Yeah, I mean, I've had my fair share of mind fucking, letting the mind, not being aware of it, of taking me into all these dark places continuously, and going through depressions, going through addictions, going through all kinds of ups and downs, going through all these states of abandonments, feeling lonely, and entertaining it and really buying into it, the story. So I've done that, and it didn't get me anywhere. So why don't I try something different? Well, what do I have to lose? What is it I'm going to lose if I try and dive into something different for a month or a year? Well, what would change? What is it I'm going to lose? Maybe there's an opportunity that I start living my life being happy. Maybe there's happiness in it. Maybe it brings me peace. Maybe I can give myself a chance. Because I did the same thing over and over and over again. My parents did that, my brothers, sisters did it, everyone around me does the same thing, and nobody's happy. Everyone's miserable. I mean, isn't that enough of a clue, of an indication that maybe what I'm doing is you can't do the same thing and expect different results, because you're going to get that result over and over again, and it doesn't work. Most people in the world, they're miserable, or they're very identified with the world. They really believe that the world that they're perceiving and they're dealing with is very, very real, and it needs a lot of fixing. And they don't even think. Maybe it's your thinking mind is the problem, not the world outside. You know? Why don't we just spend a little bit of time trying to fix that? Not how to think, not controlling the thoughts, is just going beyond the thoughts. No thoughts. How is this going to pan out if I go to this place of no thoughts? Why don't I give that one a try? Why don't I invest in that one? Whether it's time investments, financial investments, why don't I just put some time and energy into that and see what happens? I mean, imagine for a few moments that most of the day you have no thoughts. Can you imagine that? Like most of the day, you still get up and you do whatever you have to do. It's not like you're not going to be a stupor, like you're a zombie, you know, that you don't know what to do. No, you're just, your mind is very quiet. There's no story running into your head. And when you need to think of doing something, you think. You're able to use your mind to think like, okay, I need to, I don't know, pay my bills, or I need to call my mom. Yeah. But the rest of the time, there's no story going on in your head. How's that? Because a lot of people think that if you find the inner silence, then because your mind comes and tells you this thing. It's not even, it's a thought pattern. Like, okay, Zarathustra, if I find inner silence and I'm quiet, how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to work? How am I going to pay my bills? How do I operate in the world? You will be operating beautifully. Far, far better than the way you're operating now. Because you're operating from no mind. And it's perfect. Because your being knows exactly what needs to be done. And since you're operating from this really tranquilo, relaxed place, first of all, you become the flow. Everything comes through you. Everything happens. Everything lines up on its own automatically. Even when something goes wrong, you don't perceive it as it went wrong. You just see it as a function of consciousness, of a function of the relative reality. This is, things go right, things go wrong. You're just very flexible with everything. You're very easy with everything. So there's not this constant friction that you're trying to impose your ideas on life of how life should be. And if it's not this way, it's screwed up. Okay, one of our participants wrote to me, we need to understand the meaning of silence. Okay. We need to understand the meaning of silence. Or just be silent and see what comes out of it.
The mind always searching for an answer, right?
Yeah, the mind is yeah, the mind is wants to know why this world is created, why is it so diverse, why there's so many screwed up things in it, why people cheat, why people are so mean to each other, why God created a world like this. This is, and it's valid question. Where am I going to go after I die? Where was I before I was born? Where was I before I was born? Where was I really? You know, was I in a holding tank in an area that all souls are lining up? They're waiting for a new body to come to. I mean, where were you before you were born? Does this question ever come for you? And where are you going to go after you die? Of course, religion is talking about heaven or hell, and the in Hinduism is talking about reincarnation. Well, who knows? I mean, do you know of anybody who died? They buried them, and 6 months after they died, they came back. They resurrected, they came back, and they can tell you where you go after you die. I don't know of anybody. And it is a very valid question. I mean, where was I before I was born, and where am I going to go after I die? The mind wants to understand. But if you're dissecting it and you look at it a little bit closer, who is it wants to understand this? It says me, I. Well, who is this me? Who is this I? Who is this one who wants to understand? And this I, this me that comes out who wants to understand, it's, yeah, you may call it the soul, but it's also an indication of separation, because if it's oneness, then who wants to know what? Who is going to, who was where was waiting, and who is going to go to the next place? If there's the oneness, this question doesn't exist any longer. It just doesn't. For whom? Because it's all one. Means it is dead, it was dead, and it will be dead, and it's alive, and it's everything, and it was past lives, and it's future lives. It is everything. So now there's no question here, where was I and where am I going to go? This question only comes to where we still have this feeling or this notion that there is a duality, there is separation. So for the mind, which experiences or thinks that everything is separated, this question is very valid. From that point of view, it's a very valid question. But from the place that the realization comes and takes place, and there is the oneness, this doesn't even exist such a question. it becomes meaningless. Because then there's this realization that there wasn't any place before and there's not going to be a place after. It's only here. It's only now. There is no before and there is no after. So who was where before I was born and who's going to go where after I die? All of it dissolves. All of it disappears. It's just from where you're looking at it. All right.
It's quite ironic, isn't it, that many of us are using so much time to think about the future and worry, and they're thinking about the past too. We shouldn't have done this and shouldn't be there or whatever. So they don't are able to be in the now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting. So, anybody would like to share anything with me or with us, or have any question or comment? You're welcome to unmute yourself and talk to us. Talk to me. No? Okay. Um, Arka, Samantha, do you want to unmute yourself and talk to me? It's easier, then that way your comments or questions could be shared with everybody. No? Okay. Cool. All right. So since it looks like we're coming, there's no questions, comments, so um, then we can just, I think we did pretty good for today. And hopefully we got what we were looking for, or we got something useful. My just a quick note that I'm available for live training program in case if anybody wants to enroll. I'm offering this program for now. Also, I'm heading to in July. I'm having a few events at the Boomi Fest in Toronto, and then we have 5 events after that, after the Boomi Fest. So everything's going to be in Toronto. So the entire July, I'm going to be there. And I'm going to see both Shadis, and looking forward to seeing them and spending time with my beloved sisters and other friends. In case if you're in Toronto, or you're going to, by any chance you live in that area, come and visit us. I have some free events. I don't think I'm not sure if I'm able to do the academy or not, but definitely we're having the next 2 academies, the next 2 Wednesdays that I will be broadcasting, and I'm going to make some announcements whether I can continue doing the academy during the time I'm in Toronto or not. So that we're going to find out. If you want to write to me, you can write to me at my email is info@zarathustra.tv, and my social media pages are Zarathustra 5D, and my website is zarathustra.tv. And so in case if you have any comments, you're welcome to write to me. If you want to follow me on my social media pages, you're welcome to Zarathustra 5D, or I can meet you here back at the Academy next Wednesday. It's very nice seeing you all. Hope you have a great, wonderful week, and just keep doing the work, keep doing the practice, bring your attention inwards, and take your time. Just sink into this place and just stay there. And magic will happen, because it's your own being that has brought you to this platform, and it's your own being that is thriving to take you to freedom. So you're in very good hands. You don't need to worry about anything. You don't need to worry about that you may lose the path. No, it's all set. It's all being done skillfully by the master. So you're destined to awakening. There's no way out. It's just a matter of time. Okay, looking forward to seeing you next week. Namaste. Love you all. And be well.
Record.
To our viewers from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, thank you for joining me, and look forward to connecting with you again. Namaste.